For today's inspiration, we head back to Exodus. And Israel has made it out of Egypt. They've crossed the Red Sea. They've watched God do what looked impossible. They are finally free. But Exodus teaches us a truth we don't talk about enough. Getting free and learning how to live free are two different things. Israel left Egypt in one night, but getting Egypt out of Israel took much longer. And that's real life. You can leave the toxic relationship and still carry the insecurity it created. You can get out of debt and still have the spending habits that got you there. You can walk away from an addiction and still have to rebuild your mind. You can leave the old environment, but still think like the old version of yourself. Deliverance can happen in a moment. Transformation takes a process. As Israel travels through the wilderness, they start complaining. They're hungry, they're thirsty, they're uncomfortable, and suddenly they start romanticizing Egypt. Think about that. They were slaves in Egypt, but because the wilderness was uncomfortable, they started remembering slavery like it was security. We do the same thing. Sometimes the unfamiliar future scares us so much that we start missing the familiar dysfunction. You know God told you to leave something, but when loneliness hits, you start remembering only the good parts. You know God brought you out, but when the new season gets difficult, the old season starts looking attractive again. Be careful. Just because something was familiar does not mean it was good for you. God provides manna from heaven, daily bread, enough for that day. And God tells them not to hoard it. Why? Because He is teaching them dependence. Israel had to wake up every morning believing, if God provided yesterday, He will provide today. That's a lesson for us too. Some of us want God to give us enough reassurance today for the next 10 years. And sometimes He gives us enough grace for today, enough strength for today, enough wisdom for today, enough provision for today, enough peace for today. We want the whole warehouse. God gives daily bread. Then Israel reaches Mount Sinai, and now God begins establishing covenant with His people. This is where we receive the 10 Commandments. And sometimes people look at commandments only as restrictions. But remember what happened first. God rescued Israel before He gave them the law. Their obedience wasn't supposed to earn their rescue. Their obedience was supposed to shape how rescued people lived. That distinction matters. We don't obey God so we can manipulate Him into loving us. We obey because we trust the one who already loves us. God teaches them, don't put other gods before me. Don't misuse my name. Honor the Sabbath. Honor your parents. Don't murder. Don't commit adultery. Don't steal. Don't lie. Don't covet what belongs to somebody else. These weren't random rules. God was forming a people who would live differently, and God still cares about how we live. Grace does not mean character doesn't matter. Faith doesn't mean integrity doesn't matter. You can shout on Sunday and still need to treat people right on Monday. You can know Scripture and still need to control your tongue. You can say you love God and still need to be honest. Freedom without discipline can take you right back into bondage. But then something happens while Moses is on the mountain. The people get impatient. They don't know what's taking Moses so long. So they build a golden calf and start worshiping it. And here comes one of the biggest warnings in Exodus. When we get tired of waiting on God, we are tempted to create substitutes for God. They couldn't see Moses. They couldn't control the timing. So they created something they could see, something they could touch, something they could manage. We may not build golden calves today, but we still build idols. Money can become an idol. Relationships can become an idol. Success can become an idol. Attention can become an idol. Politics can become an idol. Even ministry can become an idol if we love the platform more than we love God. An idol is anything we expect to give us what only God can truly provide. The people fail badly, but the story doesn't end there. Moses intercedes for them. God renews the covenant, and eventually, the tabernacle is built. Why is that important? Because the tabernacle represents God dwelling among His people. The greatest gift Israel received in Exodus was not simply escape from Pharaoh, it was the presence of God. At the end of Exodus, God's glory fills the tabernacle, and that brings the entire book together. Exodus starts with people enslaved under Pharaoh and ends with the people being led by the presence of God. That is transformation. They went from who owns us to who leads us. And that may be the question God is asking some of us. You prayed to get out, but now that you're out, who is leading you? You prayed for the new opportunity. Who is leading you in it? You prayed for the relationship. Who is leading the relationship? You prayed for the business. Who is leading the business? You prayed for freedom, but what are you doing with that freedom? Because Exodus teaches us, God doesn't just want to bring you out of something. He wants to bring you into relationship with Him. He doesn't just want to break chains. He wants to teach you how to walk differently once the chains are gone. And sometimes the wilderness isn't punishment. Sometimes the wilderness is training. It is where God teaches dependence. It is where He builds character. It is where He exposes idols. It is where He teaches obedience. And it is where you discover that His presence is more valuable than the place you're trying to reach. So if you're in a wilderness season right now, don't assume you're lost. God may be teaching you how to live like the person He delivered you to become. If you believe God didn't bring you this far to leave you where you are, comment, God, lead me forward. Share this with somebody who has come out of something but is still learning how to walk in freedom. We finished Exodus, and next time, for today's inspiration, we head to Leviticus.